What is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV. We have been beaten 1-0 at home to Bournemouth in a really, really poor performance today. I'm here with Josh King. Well, we conceded 5 minutes in, and that kind of just set the tone for the whole game, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was such an appalling display. I'm shocked by how poor it was, because you would have thought at some point in the game we're going to have a period where we're on top, or we're peppering them, or we're putting them under pressure. Mm-hmm. I guess it's similar to what we did to City last week. They kind of did to us this week.
Yeah.
They kind of was relentless. They kept us at arm's length pretty much the whole game. They were aggressive against us. And we had no answers today, did we, Josh? It was just absolutely shocking today. I'm so disappointed.
Yeah, same. Completely blindsided. I feel like this is a bit of a reality check. Mm-hmm. I think I was getting a bit too excited about where we were going under Frank and some of the signings we've been linked to and Xavi Simons and all that sort of stuff. I think this has shown me that we still have major problems, and it will, it will be a struggle to maybe get it'll be fantastic if we can earn any kind of European spot this season, because there are major problems. In the first half, as soon as the game kicked off, we looked a little bit bright for the first couple of minutes. We had that Sarr cut back to Richie, or he just missed it or whatever. And I was thinking, all right, we're doing all right here. And then within for the next, I'd say 80 minutes, we were just completely outclassed. Our midfield it seemed so open. It seemed almost like an Ange performance.
Yeah, it was odd, wasn't it?
It was so open. I'm no tactical genius or anything, but, their manager really did a number on us. And what surprises me is how he knew how we were going to play to nullify us so badly. But, yeah, been awful. The only players that come out of that game with their head held high are Van der Ven and Vicario, I would say.
Yeah, and the worrying thing is in the other games, I feel like as the game's gone on, we've gotten more of a foothold in the game. Frank has noticed things within the game that he can improve, and I think against Burnley, against City, even against PSG, apart from maybe the last 5 minutes, there were times in the game where you felt, okay, we've got a real foothold in this game. Even though there were parts earlier in the game we didn't have control, we grabbed control of these games. But it seemed as though going 1-0 down early, he was asked a different question today. You're now faced against a team who got the advantage. They're going to look to exploit you on the counter-attack. They're going to look to leave the space, exploit the spaces you're leaving when you're going to try and force the issue. And it seemed as though we had no answer to it. We had no answer to what Bournemouth were chucking at us today. They were brave. They were more aggressive than us. They were the ones winning the duels today. They were the ones coming out in the second balls. They were causing us havoc on the wings as well. Semenyo causing us all sort of trouble. They were playing. They had a midfield three of Adams, Scott and Tavernier, and they bullied us in the middle.
Yeah.
They were bullying us in the middle.
Yeah.
Bentancur, Paulinho, Sarr seemed lost in the middle today, all over the shop. They weren't getting man to man. We couldn't even get close to them.
Yeah.
We were trying to press them like we pressed City last week, and we failed miserably. It seemed as though Bournemouth had a way of just continuing playing through us, which we had no answer to. Rishi wasn't holding up the ball like he has done in the first two games. Kudus was absolutely atrocious on that right hand side. Johnson was he was basically his usual performance but without the goal. He was giving the ball away every single time. We had no one looking to play the ball on the half turn. Maybe before Bergvall came on, who was doing it a bit. Before he came on, we had no one willing to do it.
Yeah.
No one willing to try and get in behind them, trying to ask a different question, winning their one-on-one duel. It was like last week we were playing man-to-man to Man City, and maybe that surprised them a bit, playing very high up a lot of the time. Romero and Van der Ven tracking their strikers all the way to their own penalty box, and they didn't like it. They didn't want to win their one-on-one duels, and Bournemouth did that to us today, and we had no answer to it.
Yeah.
We had no quality, and maybe it was just maybe it's the difference with when you get a Simons in there, he's willing to get on the ball and show for it and drop his shoulder and open up the pitch. But we had no one doing that today. Absolutely no one. The link up on the left-hand side between Spence and Johnson, non-existent. Porro and Kudus as well. They weren't getting any sort of advantage down the right-hand side.
Yeah.
The worrying thing is I think even early on in France's tenure, there's been obviously times we haven't been creating chances and we've looked stodgy on the ball. And I think, that's been evident. That first half against Burnley wasn't too dissimilar that we saw today. But one thing you could be sure of is we're going to be solid defensively, not giving away simple chances.
Yeah.
But today we saw none of that. They were creating chances at will, absolute will. And if it wasn't for Vicario, it would have been 3 or 4 easy today. If it wasn't for Vicario having a worldie. He had an absolute worldie today, Vicario.
I haven't seen the XG, but that was a 4-0 game to me. Like, as in, Bournemouth easily could have scored 4. And the worry is, like, what was making us so open? Do you know what I mean? Like, what is the problem here? We're playing the same midfields. We've got the same defenders. Irola just did a number on him today. I really don't get what it is. For me, this is what I was talking about when I was saying before about how, I want to see how Frank does against these sorts of teams, because this is where even Xavi Simons doesn't solve this, in my opinion. Like, you need someone.
I don't think one player can solve the problems we saw today.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What the problem was, and this is why I was a little bit down on Paulinho. I was saying, like, these aren't the games. Like, Paulinho's good, but he's good for certain types of games. Do you know what I mean? He can't play these types of games because we have no one with real technical quality, not with carrying or with passing in that midfield too. The most important part of the pitch. Bentancur and Paulinho, they're brilliant pressers, brilliant, brilliant running stats, dual winners, all that sort of stuff. But it doesn't matter because if you have no one to pass the ball to that has real technical quality, that can look after it, that can help us build, that has vision, that can pick a man out in the... how many times did they just cut through us with a pass? With one simple pass. Do you know what I mean?
It was crazy how easy it was.
Yeah.
And him running in behind as well. Evan Nilsson picking up in the box, just making one run and one simple pass. And I couldn't believe how easy it was compared to last week where City couldn't find any way through for love nor money. We were keeping them at arm's length. They got unbelievable technicians. And today, I don't know, maybe today... Obviously, we're playing Bournemouth, so maybe Frank went for it a bit more. We weren't so concentrated on sitting in that kind of organised mid-block, and we were thinking, okay, home to Bournemouth, let's go at them. Do we underestimate them potentially?
Well, I just think you can't really go at them with that midfield. I'm sorry, with that midfield, and then a left back who's right-footed, which I know no one could do anything about that. I'm not blaming like the selection or anything, but. When you've got Spence and Johnson on the same side, who Johnson can't hold on to the ball, Spence is right-footed, so the angles are off, like when he's making passes from the left and stuff like that. You can't, and then you've got 2 midfielders who can't turn on the ball, like they can't receive on the half turn or anything like that. You're going to struggle, and so if Frank did say let's go at them a little bit because it's Bournemouth or whatever, Bournemouth at home. That's, in my opinion, that's the wrong thing to do because you haven't got the players for it. You haven't got the technical quality for it. Do you know what I mean? This is what happens when you've got Richie and Brennan as your main attackers today, or even Kudus was awful as well. But I'm sorry, there's not enough technical quality between them. We don't have enough technical quality on the pitch today to be playing that way. Probably our best chance would have been literally low block and counter. That probably would have been the way to do it, I think, because you can't press low block. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
that's what I thought today we were going to try and do, kind of just go long and beat their press in that way, go long to Kudus, Richarlison. But the problem is, they were winning those duels. We weren't going long. Richarlison wasn't winning it. Kudus wasn't winning those duels, and when we were playing it short, Vicario was making sloppy passes. Whenever we played it into midfield, we lost it every time. So it was like whatever we did, it seemed as though we were lost. The stats read the XG, as you were saying, 0.17 for Tottenham. 1.45 for Bournemouth, which is I thought it'd be higher, to be honest.
0.17.
Yeah, shocking.
That is terrible. That's got to be our lowest XG of any game. For the
We had like a 17% chance of scoring today, essentially, which is ridiculous. 5 shots for Tottenham, 19 for Bournemouth, 1 on target for us, not 6 for them. They had 3 big chances as well. We didn't have a single one. They had 60. We had 62% possession. They had 38. So they clearly came with a plan to give us the ball. And that is exactly what we've been saying. This is what I said after the City game. You know, delighted with Paulinho, Sarr, and Bentancur in that game. Delighted, and they did a brilliant job. But it's not those games where you're going to question them.
Exactly.
It's the middle teams where they're smart defensively, they're smart tactically, and they're going to give you the ball and say, okay, you know, that your pass has to be perfect.
Yeah.
Like we were saying to City, and for us that worked because City are going to want the ball, they're going to dominate.
Yeah.
But usually 9 times out of 10 they got the quality to win the game anyway.
Yeah.
But we were asked that question, and we had nowhere near the quality. We were so off it. So off it. The only glimmer we had was, I thought, when Bergvall, I know he came on 50. To be honest, he wasn't really doing it maybe up until the last 20 minutes. He started to get into the game in 20 minutes ago. Maybe they were tiring at that point. But after that, he did start to turn them a bit. And we asked a few questions. He had a shot, didn't he? And that was it.
I feel like they just kind of, you know, took their foot off the gas a little bit.
They did, but still he was doing it a bit. You know, he was still the only one trying to get on the ball.
Started 100%.
Yeah,
you know
in hindsight.
how we played Gray and Bergvall against
Burnley.
And I said before the game, didn't I? Oh, I'm not sure about that same midfield. Like Gray and Bergvall are more progressive than the other midfielders, even if they're not the ideal midfielders. Both of them can play on the half turn to a certain degree, more than Bentancur, Sarr or Paulinho. And for me, when you come up against these middle of the road teams, you can only have one of Paulinho, Sarr or Bentancur on the pitch for me. Honestly, one of Paulinho and Sarr. Like you do not need more than one of them.
Yeah, and it was frustrating, you know. Half time, we could all see it was going so wrong at half time. You know, Semenyo should have made it 2. They were creating chances. We couldn't get near their goal. We didn't have a single shot at all in that first half.
Yeah.
And he didn't make any changes. He waited for 5 minutes.
Yeah, and then he panicked. And then
he was like, screw it. Why didn't I make changes at half time? I think he was thinking. Brought on Bergvall, Odebear, and you have to say, didn't really improve up until maybe the last 10 minutes, where they obviously were settling for the result, wasting time, you know, all that kind of stuff. But the changes didn't help. Odebear didn't have any sort of impact. Bergvall started to, you know, play a bit later in the game, but the changes didn't help the team really. Tell came on, you know, he had that one shot right near the end. But
I'm not gonna lie, look, Tell. And you know I'm a fan of Tell, and everyone hates Tell because he hasn't been great for us yet. But I'm like his number one fan. Like I hope he does well, kind of thing. I actually think he came on and was one of the better ones. I honestly do. He obviously had that chance. You know how he came back and he sprayed the ball out down the right hand side as well. He looked like he was trying. Odebear looked a bit better as well. But to be honest with you, just like Bergvall. A lot of these players should have just been on the pitch. I don't think this is the game for Johnson. You're not going to get... Look how they surrendered possession and stuff. We're not on the break against a big team where it's like high line and all that sort of stuff. Like, this ain't the game for Johnson. And the one thing I will say about today is, obviously, I've got no problem with Frank or anything. I'm not saying that anything needs to happen. He needs time. Everything will... we can't just win every game straight away. But the one thing that did piss me off a bit today was that Frank is known for picking the right profiles for the right game, rotating and stuff like that. Just like how we had Gray and Bergvall versus Burnley, but then we had Paulinho and Sarr versus City. Today, it's clear. If most fans would have said that we didn't need that midfield. So I'm just wondering why he picked it, because like... I hope they ask him after the game, because he's known for picking the right profiles for the right game. And I just think your face City away and Bournemouth at home is completely different. I don't get why he picked the same midfield. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think this was the thing today for me when it comes to Frank and a manager. I'm not, obviously he deserves criticism because we were just awful today. And that's just reality. When you're as bad as we are today, obviously the manager's going to come under a bit of criticism. Wasn't just, look, I saw the players trying. I know the players were bad, but there was clearly some tactical issues which he wasn't able to sort out today, Frank.
Yeah.
That's by the by. But the issues were what I was worried about before.
Exactly.
This was the questions I had. No, first of all, when you come against these middle teams who ask difficult questions of you, are you going to have the quality? And also, it's all well and good being 1-0 up and you score an early goal like we have done. But even all 3 games he's managed, we've taken the lead and done well to manage the game. But when we're 1-0 down early on, and he's asked to, can you break him down? Can you change up your tactics to ask different questions? Do you have the quality in your team to, force the issue and put them under consistent pressure? And we failed miserably at that today.
Yeah.
Failed miserably.
Yeah.
And that was look, hopefully it's a learning curve for him today when it comes to learning about his team and learning about what we can and can't do.
Yeah,
and I think that's going to happen when you're a new manager, a new team. So you've got to give him a bit of grace. But the reality is, these were the issue. These are the questions I had of him going into this game.
Yeah.
And we got the answer. And the answer was, he is going to struggle. Well, he did struggle when those things happened. Mm-hmm. And hopefully he finds solutions to that. But the worrying for me is, throughout the whole game, there was not even a period where we were getting the advantage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There wasn't a 10-15 minute spell where we were proper on top.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, we're going to score here. There was never that feeling throughout the whole game.
Yeah.
And that's even when you watch Brentford, that's kind of you associate teams with at least having, usually in most games, they have a period like that. Even when they get games they lose, they have a period where they're on top. But today we just didn't even have even a 5-10 minute spell where we were really getting an advantage somewhere or really exploiting something they were doing. There was nothing today. We were thoroughly beaten. Look, big up to Vicario, phenomenal display, phenomenal,
and Van der
Ven. Yeah, those two were fantastic today. Give them the credit where credit's due, because I thought the shot stopping from Vicario really stopped it from being a real embarrassment. At the end of the day, it was only 1-0, and we come away with it. Look, it was a horrible performance, horrible defeat, but the record book's only going to show 1-0, so it wasn't too embarrassing from that front. It was thanks to Vicario, because he made some seriously good saves. That one double save was one of the best I've seen. He made that double save from Evan Nilsson, came at his feet, and then I have to see it again. It looked like he tipped it onto the bar from Brooks on the follow-up.
Yeah, he did. I'm pretty sure he did.
Phenomenal double save from him on that occasion.
How sad is this that the only thing we can congratulate is our saves?
Yeah, that's it. That's the biggest prop I can give him, because we had nothing to show for it when it came to chances. Our best chance, I think,
was Tell
or Bergvall when he had it on target. Maybe that was
straight down the keeper's throat, though.
But in terms of actual chance, best chance of scoring a goal, because that would have been a worldie from Tell.
The best chance was probably in the first 2 minutes when
Sarr
played across and
maybe that was it.
And look, I'm telling you now, if we score that goal, it's a different game, because he knows how to manage a goal up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, true, exactly. And then it's different. And then Bournemouth, maybe because I don't surrender possession as much as they did, which they did.
This is the issue that a lot of people had with Frank, which is people were unsure how he would do at a bigger club where he will face different kinds of questions. Bournemouth don't go and play like that against Brentford. They don't.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And Brentford did the double over them last year.
Exactly.
So that's the difference.
Yeah.
And that was Brentford. He's asked different questions at Tottenham than he is at Brentford. No one plays like that against Brentford. You know what I mean? Everyone goes at them.
Exactly.
Even if you're a lower team, it's still an opportunity to get results, isn't it? It's an opportunity to get a win or a point at least.
Look, I think this is going to be a learning curve for Frank, and I'm fine. I'm fine with that, as long as we can actually learn from this, and I see improvements moving forward. I want to see how he reacts to this again when we face Fulham, or when we face Bournemouth the second time, or the other mid-table to lower top half teams. Do you know what I mean?
And that's the question. That's the question I'm going to have until he proves to me that that's not going to be an issue, because those are the questions I had before this game, and it turns out it is going to be a big issue apparently, these kind of games. So it was worrying how badly we were outplayed today. We were really, really outplayed. Like, it was by no stretch of the imagination. 1-0 massively flattered us, and that should have been really 2 and 3. And we were thoroughly beaten today by a good Bournemouth team. And this is a Bournemouth team who have lost Hyson, Kirkez, Zabrani.
Yeah.
They've lost they lost another one in the front line, I think, as well. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Isn't it 3 out of the
Utara, but I guess not a player they need to lose anyway. Kepa, the keeper, as well.
Yeah.
They've lost a big portion of their team. They've had to rebuild, and they've come to our ground.
Their defenders looked brilliant today.
Senesi was fantastic.
Amazing, isn't it?
Diakite was great. The Truffet.
What's his name?
Bloody Truffet.
Trumpet.
Bloody Truffle. He was fantastic up against Kudus, I thought.
Yeah.
Fantastic up against Kudus. Kudus, he forced him on his right foot every time, and Kudus didn't do anything on his right foot. Weak. Unlike against Burnley, where he was getting some good crosses in today. Yeah. Weak. So.
Yeah, but they were allowing him to cut back in on his left.
Exactly. That's also true. So, big questions. Obviously, look. Got Xavi Simons coming in, so that would go some way to addressing these kind of games.
I'm sorry, but how embarrassing is that?
Yeah, so we unveiled him unveiled him in front of the crowd today, and I told you, I said before, someone pointed out, I can't remember what commentator was, says Sim jinxed it in the preview saying we're going to lose. First of all, that's an opposite of a jinx.
Yeah, that's the opposite of a jinx.
And second of all, I was right in the end.
Did you actually predict a loss?
I didn't. I said 2-1 Spurs, but I said it'll be just classic Tottenham to lose this game. Because first of all, that's another loss before an international break.
Yeah.
We have not won before an international break since October 2023. That's 2 years.
Mad, isn't it?
That's 2 years of games pre-international break we consistently lose. I don't know if it's are players worried of getting injured before like an international break? Are they already?
I'll tell you what, the energy didn't seem there today.
Yeah,
SAR's usually everywhere.
Are their heads already like in the squad? Like, what is going on with that? Richarlison was nowhere near to like he's been in the first few weeks today. And also, it's just classic Tottenham. We have the Eze news and everyone's down in the dumps, and then we go and BC. And then all of a sudden everyone's getting all excited and everyone's happy with the Simons news, and rightly so. Great signing. And it's just classic Tottenham to bring us back down to earth with that kind of performance.
Yeah, 100%.
Everyone's getting ahead of themselves. People were shouting at me after we beat City, we're going to win the league, they were saying. And it's just classic Tottenham to bring us back down to earth today. Ben was going on at me yesterday about... get Simons in. We can get top 4. We can be better than Chelsea. We can get top 4, and then we get back down to earth today. Just back down to earth.
Like I said at the start, this was a massive reality check, and I hope everyone knows this is not. This isn't a season where we're likely to.
And I think today's proof. Like everyone's I saw like. I think we were talking to Brains in the chat. He like some games like we can play Salah on the 10 because Frank will just find a solution. Like everyone thinks Frank's just this magician who can in any situation just adapt to it and adapt to any situation. He's like Darwin from X-Men. He's like adaptable to anything and just adaptable to any situation. Like, so you're going to get unstuck in some situations if you don't all have the complete tools. And I think today was an example of that. So look, reality check today.
Yeah.
International break. We'll go again against West Ham after the international. It's no need to panic or anything. It's just a reality check of where we truly are. And we're going to have Simons in the game.
The game wasn't televised.
Yeah, exactly.
And people will just see 1-0.
And look, I don't know. Look, it's just a reality check about where we are with the squad at the moment. We're going to have Simons integrated. Hopefully, in the next 2 days or so, we get a signing in and we can really improve the squad. But yeah, shocking performance today, and let's just put this behind us.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's it. Look. That was the game. That was your instant match reaction. Let us know in the comment section below your thoughts on the game or anything discussed today. But now is time for you guys in the chat or in the audience to have your say on today's game. It's time for the post-match fan show. Time for you to get your opinion across the WAM today. And first of all, let's get the... Oh, sorry. Is it all right? 1 minute.
Sorry, guys.
Let's get... You know who's on first. Time for him to have his say. And it's Brian Daigle in the back end. Let's get Brian on. Brian, How are we
What's
doing?
up, Tim? What's up, Josh?
Nice
What's up,
to have
everyone in
you
the
on.
chat?
Good to see you,
How you
mate.
doing,
Good to
Dave?
see you. Look, 1-0
Sure.
against Bournemouth.
Yeah.
There's no. What was your take on the performance today? What was your thoughts, first of all?
Well, first of all, I think Bournemouth were absolutely excellent.
Yeah, that's also true. We didn't give them their credit. You're
it's
right. They
true.
were excellent today.
In all honesty, I didn't hear most of your post-match thing, but Bournemouth had our number. They were fantastic today. We looked very, very lethargic. We looked like we had a hangover from all that drinking after winning the Europa League. It looks like the hangover finally came. We looked so lethargic, so leggy. We just didn't have any idea what to do today. I'm actually quite shocked by the level of performance, but
Yeah.
I'm not taking anything away from Bournemouth. I think they were outstanding today. It could have been a lot more.
Yeah.
What do you think was the cause of it for you today, Brian?
There's so many. I mean, I think Porro was given a horrid time by Semenyo in the fullback in the first half. Porro needed help, and he was just caught out time after time after time. Midfield, do you know what it is? This game would have been perfect for Simmons, wouldn't it? We know he couldn't play for obvious reasons, but like you were saying just now, Sarr can't be the answer to every single performance in a number 10, especially when we needed a bit of guile, a bit of craft, a bit of magic. There was just absolutely no options. And Kudus, whenever we could get the ball to him today, I think his passing was completely off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got past his man a few times, but sometimes he was trying to take a man on when he had a pass on. And then some of his passing, but I don't want to just single out him individually. I think the only players I think did semi-decent today to well will be obviously Vicario in goal. I think Van der Ven was solid in defence. And I thought Val made an impact when he came off the bench.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah, and
Very much.
what role does Frank play in today's performance? Because you know,
defend your man, Frank.
yeah, come on,
Brian.
you're
listen.
Frankish, Brian.
Listen, mate, one thing I have learned, Sim, this shirt you've given me, I wore it today. It's not lucky like the grey top. I wore it for the Bayern Munich game.
It needs
And I bought
some
it
more
for this
stains,
game.
Brian. It needs some more stains. That's the
It needs
problem.
more stains off the fact that you're in the studio, not Ben. You've got the record. So these are the listen, Frank got it wrong today. Everyone will know I'm his biggest defender, and I love him. He's going to make mistakes, and today he got it wrong. I thought he was going to make a few changes at half time. He didn't, but he made it pretty soon after, didn't he?
Yeah.
They just didn't have, apart from Bergvall, they didn't really make an impact. They really didn't. And like you said, it's a learning curve. We were never going to go undefeated or invincible, and defeats are going to come. It's just the manner of this one. This team was good enough to just knock Manchester City off the park and play with a lot of passion, pride, desire. And it looks like they've rolled into this game thinking it's just Bournemouth. We could beat them. We're on our patch. You can't do that in the Premier League.
Yeah. Now, I was saying before the game, it's these kind of games where not like the midfield is going to get unstuck in these games because when you play City, they leave all the space for you. You don't need to create it yourself. But when you're playing these tough, middle of the road teams who are, smart and they're good tactically, good managers, good quality, those are the games where it's not going to be enough just to have workhorses in there. You're going to need a bit of quality as well. And I think looking at that midfield, we just didn't have the answers for them, did we?
We didn't. I'll tell you what, honestly, and I don't want to make this about him. Johnson on the left wing today, honestly, he was so poor.
Yeah.
Even with the passes when Spence was overlapping, they were overweighted.
Yeah.
Even when he is an incredible poacher. He is incredible at the back post. He's one of the best in the Premier League at arriving late and being able to bash that goal in. But his overall game, I would have rather seen Odegaard come on. Well, he did come on, didn't he, in the side. I don't know what Odegaard has to do to try and get a game there, because apart from the goals, which, let's face it, Johnson scored 2 and 2.
Yeah.
He was anonymous today.
Yeah.
His crossing, his passing. God, sorry, Josh.
No, I was just going to say he can't start the next game for me.
Who's this? Johnson.
He can't. I honestly, who have we got after the international break?
West Ham.
West Ham.
away.
Yeah, Johnson can't start that game for me at all.
Well, I think we're going to get a left winger in, guys, aren't we? I think we need a
I'm not
bit
so
off
sure.
the moment. It's just coming all the way down.
I wouldn't bet on it.
I wouldn't bet on us getting a left winger.
Well, let's hope we do. Let's hope we do. I hope so. I mean, also, Solanke.
Oh,
We need a striker.
You're starting your ITK arc, aren't you, Brian?
No, I'm not starting, mate. I heard about him being 2-3 months.
From who?
I heard
No,
about
I
him
haven't
being
heard that from anyone.
I just saw
mate,
the
listen.
tweet from you.
Frank's come out and said he'll be back after the international break.
Yeah.
What I will say is, we
doesn't
heard that about Kulu.
He also didn't say how long after the international break he'll be back.
Exactly. 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 So we'll see how long it is.
Technically, 3 months' time is after the international break.
Today is a good today is a good example of why we need Solanke as well, because he's much better at making the ball stick. I know that Richie has been good in the past few games, and Richie's a better goal scorer, but games where we need to get up the pitch like today, yeah, we need Solanke.
Josh, I think it's also why we need a third striker. Because if one of them do get injured, let's face it, Solanke and Richie tend to do it.
Yeah.
Then we're screwed. Can you imagine if they were both injured right now?
It would be Tell, wouldn't it?
I mean, I'll tell you one thing. The volley Tell had, that was incredible technique. That was an incredible piece of I mean, if that had just nestled in the back of the net, that would have been exquisite. But obviously, it just cold wide. But we need a striker, don't we?
Yeah, and I don't think we're going to get one. I don't think...
Oh, we can only hope, boys. We can only hope.
Frank has said again on Solanke, he's just said in his press conference he hopes to have him back after the international break.
Yeah, when?
Yeah, exactly. I hope
he said he's
game.
not looking for another striker. That's what he said. He said he's not looking for another striker.
Okay.
There we go. There we go. We'll see.
But what does today show you about how much more we need in the window for you, Brian? Or was today not indicative of needing transfers and more of something else?
I think it's a bit of both. I think both. You look at it today. Like we said, we've discussed left winger. Obviously, that is a massive need. We could talk about lack of creativity, but that's been solved with Xavi Simons, and obviously he will be able to make his impact as of 2 weeks' time. I do think we need a left winger. I do think we need I would still try and get a striker. Obviously, Frank has said no, so that's the end of that. And I think Akanji to offer some cover on that right back as well. So he keeps Spence on the left back, but Destiny's back as well today, hasn't he? So that's a positive. We just need more time with Frank. It's 3 games. Yes, we've had our first defeat, and then we just pick ourselves dust off. What's he been here for? 2 months on the training pitch. 2 months. And we've played some fantastic football in the previous 2 games. 3, if you want to include Paris Saint-Germain. And today, a very well-drilled and a very, very good Bournemouth beat us. And there's no shame in that. They were brilliant today.
Amazing. Yeah.
They were. So what would your feeling be if our business is done after Simon's?
Well, if our business was done now,
Yeah.
I'd be happy with what we got, but I think we would again been left short.
Okay. But
If someone had said to me at the beginning of the window, Sim, we'd have the 3 first team starters like Kudus, Paulinho, and Simmons, I would have said, yeah, okay, whatever, you're talking nonsense. But we have got them.
Yeah.
So we have brought in 3 big-time players ready for the first team, which is unlike any other time we do. But we still need, just because we've done it once doesn't mean you just stop. We need better quality, especially now. You've got to remember, once we come back from international break, Champions League is here.
Would you say Frank's been backed? Has Frank been backed, if that's the case?
Has he been backed? I think he has. Listen, you can't deny he's been backed with 3 very, very good players. You can't. I can't deny that. There's no way I'm going to say that, but I think he could do with 1 or 2 more. 1 minimum. But Ange Postecoglou and other managers have had a lot of money thrown at them, and they bought a load of quantity. Frank hasn't spent that kind of money, but he's got the quality.
Yeah.
And I've always said I want quality over quantity. So I've got to go with and say, yeah, he probably has been backed.
All right, Brian. Appreciate you calling in, mate. Nice to see you.
See you soon,
Hopefully
boys.
enjoy the rest of your day at the Scotland Yard.
And
I'll see you in a bit.
I will
Take
do.
care,
I
mate.
will do. Take care, everyone in the chat. Laters.
See you later, Daigle.
Frank, apparently there were boos at half-time and full-time today,
Really?
which is a bit much, isn't it? Frank's second home game. I know the performance was bad, but...
Is it real boo?
Well, that's all. Some journalists were asking him about it. He says, "I prefer them not to
I didn't
boo."
hear that on the
I didn't hear it either, but
Who's there today? I
have to ask Ben.
Is Ben there?
he was there. I can ask him. Frank says, "I prefer them not to boo, but I understand it was not a good performance today. They have high expectations, which I understand. The players put their heart out there, but didn't hit our football levels today." Which is all true, but
Has he said anything else on the like? I'd love to hear some of his quotes. Like,
haven't seen. They're all just filtering through. I think he's doing his press conference now. So any more quotes, I'll bring them to you. But that's all he said. On if he wants another striker, he was asked not particularly. To have 3 strikers in the squad can also cause problems. It's a fine balance. I'm not saying we won't look for another striker in a future window, but I'm happy with Richarlison and Dom. So that was him putting to bed any suggestions of looking for another striker. Let's get Stephen on. Hey, Stephen, how you doing, my friend?
Hey guys, you're right. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yeah, thank you. Look, disappointing today. 1-0 defeat to Bournemouth. How do you assess what you saw today?
Disappointing, wasn't it? Frustrating as well because we started the season so well. But yeah, it was. You just have to put your hats off to Bournemouth today. They found a way to stop us, and they did it. So yeah, but it does prove that I'm glad we got Simmons in because I think he would have made the difference today. And we definitely need a left winger because as much as I like Johnson and his goal's fine, but he was just non-existent today at all. So. Yeah, so a bit frustrating today, but hey, let's dust ourselves off and we move on, don't we?
So for you, is it just as simple as you add Simmons into today's game and it's all different?
I think Simmons will offer us that between the defence and the midfield and the attack. That. Sorry, guys. The number 10. So I think he will make a huge difference because of his range to parking and stuff and unlock those defences that we need to. So, but yeah. So I'm glad we've got him in, but like I say, we need a left winger because Johnson just doesn't have it. I thought Odebed did more than Johnson did. So
definitely.
So yeah.
Sounds like your dog feels the same way about the performances.
I go on this pounding show sometimes as well, and he just makes a noise. So
Who comes out with any credit today? Anyone for you?
I have to agree, Vicario and Van der Ven. You've got to say that, really, haven't you? Without Vicario, we would have probably lost 4-5-0.
Yeah.
And Van der Ven as well. He was good, but am I right in thinking that the goal was deflected?
It was, yeah.
It was a jammy goal, the one that they did actually score.
Yeah. With all the chances they had.
scored so many more. That would have been funny if that was 0-0 that game.
But, I think I was very surprised about the lineup, if I'm brutally honest. It was exactly the same lineup as last week, and I was kind of a bit like, oh, okay, that's weird, but okay, we'll go with it.
Who did you expect to be starting?
I thought you might revert back to like what we did against Burnley, Bergwijn and Gray. So I thought maybe that, but it was the same lineup as we played against City, which I was a bit surprised at. So
yeah.
But a lot of, you know what? There's been a lot of online stuff saying, "Oh, Frank out, Andy," and we've just got to calm down a bit. It's disappointing when we lose, but it's he's only, like you say, he's been there 2 months, so he's learning. Because it's completely different from Brentford to Tottenham. So it's a whole new different level. So, but literally, do you know how long Dom Solanke's out for? Because that's worrying me now.
Frank said after international break he should be back, but we'll see.
Because he's been out a lot during pre-season. He's been he's made 2 substitute appearances in the 80th minute or 75th minute or something, and now he's injured again. That is worrying me.
Very worrying. Yeah, it might be a
Frank's,
thing where they need to have
If
a
it is any
operation
longer,
or something.
he's got a grumbling ankle injury apparently.
okay.
That's yeah.
If it's any longer, and then we come back or Ripley gets injured on international, I hope he doesn't. But I'm just saying, if he does, we've got no striker.
Yeah.
Who goes up front?
I'd honestly put Johnson up front. Honestly.
I mean, that's a good shout because at least he can put the ball in the back of the net. That's about it.
Yeah. People talk about, like, you know, we need our striker to hold up the ball though and be physical. And yeah, we do. But like, if, like you said, at least Johnson, we know, can score goals. And you can kind of like, if you've got Xavi and you've got Kudus, they can like look after the ball and get us up the pitch a bit more and then pass in Johnson. So I think Johnson could work up top, especially if we had like Kulu back or something to be more physical in a 10 role and like hold up the ball. But yeah.
All right, Stephen.
Let's hope we do something in the last few days. You know, it's like get that left winger in definitely. So
yeah, how important is that for you? How important is it? Is it not good enough if we don't get them in, or is it a necessity?
I mean, Kudus has been amazing. That right-hand side has been absolutely fantastic, apart from today, obviously. But the left side just looks too weak. We need a decent left winger in that can just give it a little bit of balance, put those still into the 10, and then just balance it out a little bit, you know, because I like to say that left side, apart from Spence, who's having to do all the work, I think it looks a little bit unbalanced. So I'll get another defender in, obviously, to cover. But apparently Dragonson's back in about 10 days, apparently.
Yeah.
He said back in training in about 10 days, but apparently it's going to be about a couple of months till he can play.
Really?
That's what Frank said.
Oh. Okay.
He said a couple of months.
Oh, okay.
Right, fair enough. We need a Kanji in then. Apparently we're leading the race, Matteo.
Let's hope we can get him, but we'll see. We'll see. Stephen, appreciate you calling in, my friend. Thanks for your time.
Guys. Let's hope we'll enjoy the international break and we'll come back stronger. I guarantee it. So.
Come on. Guaranteed by Stephen, we're going to come back stronger after the international break.
Hope he's right.
Oh, is that a good thing or a bad thing that we got West Ham after?
Oh, it depends if Potter's still there. Have they played today?
Playing tomorrow when Forest away.
Let's see. Because I think if he loses, he'll be sacked.
Could be gone.
I think he'll definitely be gone. He has to win, doesn't he? Maybe a draw gets him.
People in the chat saying the boos from the crowd are for the ref, not for the team.
Oh,
Maybe that makes sense, I guess. The ref was frustrating today. I mean, in theory, West Ham should be a good thing, but yeah, if they're on any sort of confidence at all, like even the most minuscule confidence coming into that game, they'll probably really up their game because they always up their game against us.
If they have a temporary manager or a new manager bounce, we're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
But if it's Potter, I'm pretty certain we'll win.
Okay.
And I'm the most pessimistic fan around.
Yeah, I think he's the kind of manager Frank likes to face.
Yeah.
I think so. All right, 6-yard box. So let's get him on.
Hello,
how you doing, my friend? Thanks for calling in.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thanks. We're trying to kind of rationalise what we saw today. 19 shots against, 5 for Tottenham. We only had 1 shot on target. What happened today?
They were just better, man. They were a lot better than us. And, we 50-50 battles, we couldn't win them. And that's the key. You can have all the tactics and all the formations. If you can't win your 50-50, the game is done, man. And I think that's the main problem today.
How does that happen after... It's true, but how does that happen after what we saw at City last week, where it was the complete opposite?
Yeah, I just think it happens, man. Sometimes the players go to the pitch and they're just not performing on the day. And, Bournemouth were like really good today, like 1v1 press, transitions, they were really, really good. And we just couldn't win 50-50s. And Richie couldn't hold up the ball as well,
Yeah.
And if you can't hold up the ball, that's like basics, man. I know he's been playing really well, but today it was just a bad day for me at the office for everybody, apart from a
Yeah.
couple of players. So we just got to hold our hands up and say, Bournemouth were a lot better.
Agreed.
What do you think Frank could have done different today?
I think he tried. He changed in the second half. I think maybe he could have brought on maybe Dom because he's bigger. Maybe
He's injured.
He's injured.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying because he was
Oh.
injured, so he couldn't do that. So his hands were tied, really.
Yeah.
I don't know what else he could have done because he could plan everything, formation, everything. If your players don't win the 50-50s, that's it. You're in trouble, and that's what the problem was today. And second half, when Bogval came on, you could see the difference. He was like driving past people, turning, trying to beat people in midfield, which we were not doing. And he was trying to win tackles as well. So, kudos had a couple of people, like 2 people on him as soon as he gets on the ball. So I think he was trying a little bit too hard as well sometimes, just laying off the ball and trying to do 2v1s. But that's what happens when you are not playing well. The player that you're looking at, they try a lot to try and make the difference. But today I just think they were just better. They were better all over the pitch.
Was today a reality check, would you say, for a lot of fans?
For me, I know we were going to lose a game eventually. Even Frank said it. So I don't. Yeah, it's a defeat, but it's how we bounce back. The only thing I don't like is the fact that every international break we keep losing games. So we'll see how the pattern goes on. Because I don't like when we keep losing games just before the internationals.
It's like a double whammy. Like I hate the international break anyway because it's a bloody international break, and then
we
always lose the games. I always have to mull over a loss before that international break as well.
Break's so annoying.
I know. 2 weeks mulling over a loss.
Yeah, there's gonna be videos, reaction videos. They're gonna overreact everything till the next one. So
is it at what point? 6-yard box, do we start saying there's a pattern with this international break thing? It's been 2 years, October 2023, since we last won a game before an international break. Every time we lose the game, we don't even draw, it's always a loss. So like at what point, how long do you have to go on for before we have to say there's some sort of pattern going on?
I think we just have to look at the manager. We'll see what goes on, after the next one, or maybe it's just like a Tottenham thing. I don't know. We beat Man City every time, so maybe maybe that's one of our things that we have to own. That we're gonna be losing every international. So yeah, it's just it's like rain. It rains every every time. The weather is not nice every time. You can't predict the weather sometimes. That's just like we beat Man City every time, so that's just one of those things, you go to McDonald's, you get a Big Mac meal. That's normal, It's just the same thing. You just go own it. So yeah.
We paraded Xavi Simons today before the game. Obviously you probably won't be happy watching the performance that we put on today.
Embarrassing performance.
How much of an impact do you think he'll make on the team?
I've just been reading what people are saying because I only saw him play a couple of games for Netherlands, so I can't really say much about him. But everybody's been raving about him, so yeah, hopefully he'll give us something different as well because we just need different profiles of players really, and hopefully we'll settle in really well today. So when it comes into the team, but he's gonna look at this performance and go, yeah, it happens. Sometimes. You get you don't play well every game, so it's just one of those things. But we need to bounce back and maybe beat West Ham by 10-0 or something. I don't know. That would be good.
In terms of the last couple of days of the window, though, what are you thinking about? Are we desperate for new signings? Would it be okay if we don't get anyone?
Yeah, I think we should maybe get a defender in. But. You never know what's going to be. I got a feeling we might get somebody on loan, a defender or something. Hopefully, what's his name? Savinho can take his bag and run down the M6 or whatever they call it. Come down to London, but because I think they say he's been trying to make a lot of noise. That he was not happy about City blocking the move. So he's the kind of player we might need today as well. We might, the more players that you have that can open doors for you, the better. So, but hopefully we get a defender in or something. But yeah, we'll see.
All right. Thank you for calling in, mate. Appreciate your time as always.
Take care, brother.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you soon.
Can I just shout out my channel?
Yeah, please do. Please do.
Yeah, please go and subscribe to my channel. Really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you very much, guys. I'll talk to you later.
Big up to you, mate. Thanks a lot.
Right.
Go subscribe to 60 Box. Big up to him. Let's see. So Frank's press conference has been done. I'll see if I can get any more quotes from that. Let's keep going. Let's get Mark on. See what he has to say for himself. How you doing, Mark? Cheers for calling in, mate.
Frustrated, tired. A little bit of a backstory of why I'm like this right now. I worked a late night shift last night. I only went to sleep 4 in the morning, just to wake up at 9. And I don't know. I just have second thoughts on whether or not I should have watched that. I should have stayed sleeping. So bad. It was terrible. I woke up. I was like looking at my tablet, and I was like, "You gotta be kidding me already!" It's terrible. It was terrible.
You didn't even get to see us shoot.
Yeah, no, like seriously, like we barely did anything. Like I would say I got in, I woke up, and then I started watching the 10th minute. I got my phone notification of like, how did we get scored on so fast?
God, yeah, especially given how we've been defending this season. You expected a bit more solidity. That was one thing that was worrying today, wasn't it? Like, as much as we were awful going forward and didn't have a shot, we were so open. Why do you think that was?
I don't know. I did some research on like kind of like what makes Thomas Frank tick, like just videos on like tactical videos and stuff. And literally the one thing that hinges on Thomas Frank's system is everything is man to man. So if you can't win your 1v1s, the whole it seems like it kind of crumbles. And I kept seeing a lot of 2v1s where Ariola would just send somebody, or it would be like an instruction for to add extra pressure, to add 2 people to force a mistake. Yeah. And then once that happened, it was just like a domino effect. It would just kind of open it all up. It was just so weird. But I think also because we don't have, it's not a true back 4. It's not that as solid as it was, maybe before Ange. But then Ange, that the only reason we are so open is because we push so freaking high. Just lob it over our heads, and it would be already in open space. This one, it was a little bit weird. It was just they were not focused. They were not in the really cohesive as they would have, a week ago. We were doing fine. We were a machine. We were at least creating space. This is a little bit worrying, only because it's because of how we lost, and how we just were shut down. We got completely shut down. Pure pressure. We just couldn't handle the pressure.
And so is it? How do we go about solving that issue for you? Is it a tactical thing? Is it a quality thing with the players? What do you think?
I think it's a bit of both, but right now to start would have to be tactics. We need to find a way to pick the lock on teams like this, because whether it's in the Premier League or in the Champions League, we're gonna have to do something against those teams that like to pressure consistently and like to force mistakes out of people. We need to find a solution, and we need to find one that won't take away from our shooting ability, because I think once we had that opening, we could have. Like I think Tell, like that was a great strike right at the end,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But if we had like 5 or 6 more of those, that would be great. But
That's
we
true.
couldn't even get to the
There's a
box.
reluctance, wasn't there? A reluctance to kind of just welly it from 25
Yeah.
yards or something. Sometimes that's just
Yeah,
what it takes.
yeah, and that's another thing too. I was looking that up, and seems like from the stats, that's what Thomas Frank does. Is
Yeah.
he tries to put it into positions where it's the maximum, I guess, maximum percentage of actually scoring. That's why his
Yeah.
XG is so
Yeah.
high. The only problem is it's what's padding his XG is it's in the box. It's so close, like right in front of the keeper. So every time we would try to cross it, it was cross into the keeper.
Mm.
Like if we would have, I don't know, at least 5 or 6 yards back,
Yeah.
crossing it
Cutbacks.
in, then it would have been fine. We at least cross a little earlier. That would have been fine. But we didn't. We just kept running into the keeper every time.
That's such a good observation, Mark. Two things he said actually. First, when you were talking about the 50-50s and how because it's man to man, it's not going to work if our players aren't winning their 50-50s, which is why Frank is trying to get dual winners. That's why he's obsessed with like players like Paulinho, Kudus. All of them win their duels usually. Do you know what I mean? And then second of all, how I've like only since you just said it, Mark, but like I've seen crosses go to the keeper so many times since Frank's come in. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
So he must be instructing them to cross into that space where
Into that
it's
zone.
easy for the keeper to collect it, because if you do get a touch on it, it's
Then
a goal.
all of a sudden it's a goal. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So I just thought it's a good observation.
Oh, and we paraded Simons today. How great. Obviously, first, what do you make of the signing, and do you think he goes some way to solving some of the issues we had today?
Okay, so with Simons, I think he's a really good signing. I think out of everything that's happened so far, I think we got the best pick of the lot right now, in terms of number 10s and wingers. I think you got the best pick. I honestly thought that wasn't gonna happen. I thought that deal was completely off the table. I woke up, I was like, yes, Yeah. Now everybody else is regretting not picking up Simons as fast as we did, and I think it's a good comeback to save our transfer window, because I remember I said earlier, like a couple weeks back, like we wasted a whole transfer window. We wasted so much time. So now I'm just waiting for him to get on the pitch and really like get gelled in with the team, because I think, especially with open play and counterattacks, his vision is going to be really important, and as a number 10. But then as a winger, I think his skills are going to be put on display. Like I noticed that, like you said, we're trying to find people that are good on 1v1s, and we're trying to find people who are just really good at skill moves. Like like one that plays into what we like. We like the flair, we like the style, but now we need it in order for the system to work.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm just reading some quotes from Frank. He says he's asked about another creative signing. He says it's fair to say we didn't defend as well as we should do, and we have done in the first 3 games. He says I'm confident we'll come back to defend well again, but that could have helped massively. The creativity issue is why we signed Simons, to have an extra offensive player. But I also think today, with all due respect to our offensive players, none of them hit a high level, and that happens sometimes. I'm very aware. I don't want to say it's okay, but it's natural. So he's calling out a lot of our attackers today, saying none of them hit a high level.
In the nicest,
Good.
The nicest way to say
that's
to
the
do it.
nicest corner I've ever heard. Like, if it was content,
Yeah, they were shy. Yeah.
yeah.
Good thing they did, because we need them. We need accountability. But also, I think he should have taken a little bit of accountability on some of the tactics today. But it's whatever. I mean, I'm thinking that he's probably trying to fix that right now as we speak. So
I think personally our midfield was because we didn't really get it into our attackers. I'm not going to blame. Yes, Richie had a couple of times where he could have held the ball up a bit better, but you know, how often were we really getting pressure for our attackers to build momentum? It wasn't getting through midfield. So like I wouldn't even just blame our attackers, to be honest. Like I think that's
like at the end there, like we just like I can tell like the back line were just tired of just dealing with the midfield and they just try to bypass it just by going long.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, we're done. Like we're not gonna even pass it to you because it's a lost cause.
It's true.
It's true. Just going long.
It's crazy.
Like they're just trying to go for it, you know.
All right, Mark. Appreciate you calling in, mate. Thanks for your time as always. And are you gonna go get some rest now? You gonna go?
Yeah,
fall asleep?
I'm just gonna go back to sleep and hopefully I forget this. So
Appreciate you, man.
Please.
Hopefully you wake up to a signing, Mark.
Exactly. Let's hope
Oh
so.
yes.
Yeah.
Big up to
All
you.
right, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Is anyone else? No. That's it. All right. All right. Well, that I think is that for today's match reaction. We've been humbled, I think it's fair to say, by Bournemouth. Yeah. More dissection tomorrow to be had with Ben in the studio. Well, we'll have player ratings, we'll have reacts, we'll have things we can take, 5 takeaways. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to that. God,
I'm not here for that, guys.
Looking forward. Josh, appreciate your time today, mate. Thanks for coming in and watching that game with me. Couldn't have done it alone.
Yeah.
Couldn't have done it alone. We're all in this together, people. Big up to everyone out there. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Let's hope we can put this result behind us and enjoy your international break. See you in a couple of weeks for the West Ham game. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.